go. Not a single nail. And it's, well, it's leaning right now. It's not touching anything. But it's sturdy. Not a single nail holding it together. So now I run into the issue of I'm building the shed against a wall. So I'm building against that wall and that wall. And it's going to be hard to put the sheeting on the outside or what I'm doing on the outside when it's up against the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, this is the wall that goes that way, so I'm going to build up, I'm going to sheet it, I'm going to lean it up. I'm going to do the same to that wall, build it, lean it up. And the idea behind this also is I'm going to build the shed in removable pieces. So even though I don't have any screws or nails holding the walls together, the panels together, I'm actually going to join them with removable screws so that if I ever decide to move this thing, it's really easy. I can just pick it up, move it, we're done. But this is, first I'm going to have some tar paper at the outside, because what I'm using are these are pallet slats. I removed all these from pallets. I left the nails in. The way I did it is when it was joined to the pallet, I actually just took a Sawzall and I sliced it in between the 2x4 and the slat, so I didn't crack it. And then I also have the nail head left in there so it doesn't create a hole. But the way these are going to just lay like siding, so they're just going to lay, you know, it's upside down right now to me, but they're going to lay just like that, tar paper behind them, and I'm going to staple all these on to the 2x4s below, but that's what I'm going to do now. There we go. The whole side is done and stained. But that's the second coat of stain I put on. Put on one last night, and now I put on one just like 20 minutes ago. So that'll soak in, that'll dry. But this is the wall that actually goes up against here, so you won't ever see it again. Okay, now it's time for a little math. So now I have this, and this is my top. So this is actually sloped. But I need to make sure this is square before I start putting panels on it. There's a couple things you can do. You can use, you know, if it was a square thing, you know, exactly a square wall, you measure across this way, you measure across that way, make sure they're the same, tweak it to where it is. But when you don't have something square, you can use stuff like the 3-4-5 rule, which is using the Pythagorean theory, where you measure up here, you measure down here 3 feet, or you measure up here 3 feet. Measure the other way 4 feet, so if we got 3 feet here, 4 feet here, the distance between here to here at this angle is going to be 5 feet. And get that tweaked out just right, and you'll have it good. But what we're using is the Pythagorean theory. It says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We can measure the whole thing, get a little bit more accurate by just figuring out what a whole length is. So a squared, we'll do this. C squared is always the angle. That's, you know, A and B are always your 90 off your 90 degrees. So I have 85 and a half plus 77.25. 7.25 squared equals, that equals the distance between that corner to right here. So I'll figure that out. Calculator. So there we go, did the math, and I should be 115.23, so just barely shy of 1/4 of an inch, and that'll give me a 90 degree, a right angle at that corner. So I'll be square. Again, A side, B side, or A side, B side, it does not matter. But your distance right here is always your C side, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared, or you can just 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, but I'll get this to 115. This is a little bit larger. That means I need to bring this together to shrink it down, and I'll put a tie down on it real fast and just ratchet down just a little bit, just to make that square, and then I'll keep it square, and then I'll start adding my siding. We got the side panel done, one of them. There's the back panel leaned up, so now I'm going to pick that up and join the two together, and then I can start building the other two walls.